Yeah, you're good with time, eh?
Yeah, I've got all the time in the world, mate. As long as it's done by 9 p.m, it's all right.
Yeah, I don't think we'll be like Joe Rogan 3.5 hours.
Yes. No, I've just got to swim 5K today. It's all right, don't worry.
Just
No
5K. It will take me like a week to swim 5K.
It's all in your
I'll
head.
split it in 50 meters.
Yeah, you know what, when I first swam 5K, I was thinking, this is going to take me forever. And it did, it took me forever. But then that, like, as your paces get quicker, your time in the water becomes less. And it's like, you'll finish 4K now and it's like, oh, I did it in like an hour and 10 minutes rather than like, because obviously you don't just swim 4K in one go. There's obviously like a rest in between, but now my time spent in the water is less. So I get home and I've gone, oh, I actually got home at like a reasonable time. I thought it was going to take me this much longer. But mate, it's taken like 2.5 years to get there. Jeez. Because I never swam before, so.
Really?
Never.
So
well,
this is the welcoming, by the way. Welcome to the show.
We started? Thanks, man.
So how did you start swimming? Because I'm a really bad swimmer.
Oh, so I started swimming with YouTube. Because obviously everyone's swam before in their lives. Like, I think I went to lessons when I was a kid. You know, your parents are like, all right, I don't want them to drown when they get in the water, so like, we'll start swimming lessons. So I ended up swimming, and I think I did like those. Did you get badges in Slovakia when you were kids?
I don't think so.
You'd like swim 25 meters, or you'd swim for like 4 weeks and have a test, and then you'd get this little badge to say, I swam this, and
I wish we did. Maybe it would motivate me to actually do it.
Yeah, and I always remember we did one where it was like you had to come in your pajamas and you had to swim a certain length in your pajamas. Yeah, so you could like actually swim in case you fell in the water, you know. And the thing is, I was swimming, but I just wanted to swim as fast as I could all the time, and I wasn't one for like listening to technique or anything. I must have been 5, 6 years old, but in England it was just football. So after crying, like my mum used to take me to swimming, I would just sit there and cry and say, I'm not swimming, I just want to play football. I think she just gave up in the end, and she was like, right, he's going to play football, and that's it.
Yeah.
And that's like one of my biggest regrets, you know, because when I started triathlon 2.5 years ago, before I decided to really start triathlon and get a coach, I thought, well, I can't start without learning how to swim properly. So I was like, right, I'm going to learn how to swim without stopping, basically, because I would like swim 25 meters, stop.
That's me.
And then swim 25 and stop. I just didn't know how to do it. So I went down with YouTube on, and it was like how to swim. And this guy would sit there, talk to me, and says, right, you're going to do this. Now swim 50 meters. So it was like a 25 meter pool. She'd go there and back. And I'd be breathing so heavy, and I'd be holding my breath basically most of the way. But then he had a section where it was like talking about how to breathe underwater. Like obviously when you breathe out, when your head's down, and breathe in when your head comes up. And once I took the pace out of it and trying to swim fast and just thought, right, I'm going to learn how to swim 100 meters without being out of breath. As soon as I did my first 100 meters without being out of breath, I was like, I can swim. That's it. I went and got a coach.
That was freestyle, yeah?
Freestyle, yeah. Yeah, you guys call it freestyle. In the UK, we call it front crawl. It's really weird.
We call it as well front crawl.
Oh, do you really?
I just started to call it freestyle since I was in the US, because they call it freestyle.
They call it freestyle, yeah. Yeah, and then after I could swim 100 meters, it was like, right, if I can swim 100 meters without like being out of breath, I can swim 5,000 meters. Yeah. Obviously, it's not going to be
slower,
fast,
but yeah.
And then, then I went and found a coach, and I was like, right, I want to do triathlon. And luckily, one of the first things he said was, can you swim? And I was like, just about.
I can do 100 meters.
Yeah, I can do 100 meters without like being completely out of breath. So yeah, I went and got a coach, and that was the start of my.
And the coach was for the triathlon or for the swimming? For
triathlon. Yeah, so I was lucky. So in Dubai, I went. There's a endurance group here called Inner Fight Endurance, and I knew of a few people who'd been to them to start triathlon, and I just emailed them and said, hey, I'd love to get involved in triathlon. Like, never done it before.
And that was only 2.5 years ago.
2.5 years ago, yeah.
That was very fast progression.
Yeah, it was crazy. Yeah,
your times are fucking amazing. At least in my eyes, because my runs are slow. I can barely bike. I cannot swim.
Thanks. Well,
but like in 2.5 years to progress this much, I think it's crazy.
Yeah. No, I think I was quite lucky because I came from a sporting background. Like I used to be a footballer, so well.
So the running was natural for you.
Yeah, the running was okay. I'd got into that, like, I think in my early 20s, everyone goes through that stage of, right, I'm going to get massive and build muscle and be like a macho man and put on loads of weight and
you did,
bulk. And I did, yeah. I like did a bit of powerlifting, and I could like deadlift a fair bit for my weight and stuff. And But I was never a brutally strong guy. You know, you get some people just naturally strong. Like we all had friends when we were kids who could like bench press like 150 out of nowhere, and I could barely even get over 100. You know, so I was always like okay at endurance sports, and like running was always my thing. And when I sort of started running during COVID times again, I thought, oh, you know, it'd be quite nice to get back into like something that I'm better at naturally, you know. And that's when I bought a bike in COVID. I bought like a little road bike. I think it was called Up 10. I think the brand is called. I don't think anyone's ever heard of it. But I bought it for like 500 dirhams, which is like 100 quid. And my brother cycles a lot in the UK, and he had Strava, and I'd never known what Strava was before. And he said, right, it's this app where like when you run, it uploads, you know, get a Garmin watch, get Strava, you run on your Garmin, it tracks it, and then it uploads it to Strava, and then everyone in the community can see what you do, basically. So I started looking at his cycling times, and I was going, bloody hell, like, I see myself as an athlete, but he was better than me on the bike. And I was going, I've always been super competitive, because having an older brother, I think you just naturally are competitive. And I was like, right, I'm going to do everything in my power to be faster than him. And I'm not going to wear clip-in shoes. I'm not going to wear padded shorts. I'm not going to have like a carbon fiber bike and disc wheels, whatever. I was like, I'm just going to be the best I can be on a bike without buying all the gear, you know? And
that's what you thought.
Yeah, I thought I could do a triathlon in like cheap shoes. Yeah. I could do I can ride a bike without clip-in pedals and like padded shorts, and I could swim by learning from YouTube. Do you know what I mean? That's how I was going to do my first triathlon.
It's funny because this is how I see it. This is like when I decided 2 years ago that I will do triathlon. Yeah. I haven't done it yet.
Have you not done
Maybe
one?
that's why now.
Oh, I thought you had.
No, I haven't.
Have you not?
No. I thought I will, and then I thought like, yeah, fuck it, like I don't need a trainer. I'm just gonna do it all by myself. Just gonna like buy some bike. I haven't bought even a bike. And I was like, I'm just gonna learn by myself how to swim. And I went to the beach and I was like swimming as well, like from YouTube and stuff. It was so shit.
Yeah, but you know, swimming in the sea in your first time, like when you say I'm gonna do a triathlon, you're not a swimmer and you go to the sea, especially in Dubai, it's the worst thing you can do. I did the same thing.
Also, it's bad to train in the sea?
For your first time, 100%. So
But then you swim in the sea for the...
Yes, all right, let me explain. So I went to the beach, I think it was maybe 6 months before I had this crazy idea that I was going to do a triathlon. Well, I sort of had it in the back of my head I wanted to do a triathlon. And one of my friends from the gym was a really good swimmer. And I said, right, teach me how to swim. So he went, right, we're going to go to Kite Beach. Jumped in the water, and apparently the Dubai Sea is the second saltiest sea in the world. So you get in and it's like, boom, the salt water hits you, can't breathe.
It is salty.
It's horrible. And I was like...
it burns.
It burns, right?
Yeah.
And I couldn't breathe anyway, like as it was. But then when you do it in the sea, it feels like you're never going to swim because you take one breath and you're like, your lips are salty, your nose is salty, your head feels like it's full of water. Yeah. And I got out of the water and I literally said, that's it, I'll never do a triathlon, ever, because I can't swim. But then like when I went to a pool and I was like, right, okay, let's learn the technique first. Because I mean, when I went to the sea, it was choppy as well. So it's like...
Yeah, with the waves, it's like next level.
Exactly. So you need to like take it like really slowly in steps, but...
But then is it a big shock to go from the pool to the sea to actually do the race?
Yes, 100%. Yeah.
But then before the race, do you actually practice in the seas?
Yeah.
Sometime?
Yeah. In Dubai, we're quite lucky because the sea is like...
It's quite calm.
It's calm, yeah, generally calm. And you can swim in the sea most of the year round. You can't do it now because it's too hot, but come September, maybe not even September, but October time, you can swim from basically October through till April.
So you don't swim now just because when you swim, you get too heated?
It's too hot, yeah. It's like, imagine swimming in your bathtub.
Yeah.
It's like you've been to like Barasti or whatever, and like on the weekend in summer one day, and you've got in the water thinking you're going to cool off, and it's like
a tea.
It's like tea, isn't it? Yeah, literally. So, but I think if you can learn the technique in a pool, get the very, very basics, and then if you obviously want to do a triathlon, you're going to have to start swimming in open water and with other people, because when you swim with other people in the sea, it's like, you know, you get elbowed, you get kicked, so you have to sort of...
That's what I was kind of afraid of as well.
Yeah.
Like, because I like to train by myself, I like run by myself, I don't like run clubs and stuff, because it's just, I don't know, annoys me to have people around. But then when I did my first half marathon 2 years ago, I was like, what the fuck? I was so annoyed because there was like thousands of people. I guess if you want to do these kind of things, you have to get used to running with people, especially swimming with people, getting punched in the face, kicked in the face.
Yeah, kicked, elbowed, swam over.
Can't you just like kind of like be away from that?
You can, yeah.
Or like wait till they go and then you go?
You can, for sure. Yeah, you can.
Because your time counts from when you enter, right?
100%. Yeah. But then there's also like, it depends how obviously seriously you want to take it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like if you want to go fast, then it's good to get on people's feet, because in the same way that you get dragged along by a bicycle in a peloton, you get the same draft effect when you swim in a pack. So you want to be close to someone, because if someone's swimming slightly faster than you have slightly an easier ride if you sit on someone's feet. So when you're swimming,
I guess it motivates you as well to like you have to be pushing more because they are pushing, so I have to
exactly. And the thing is, if you also have a course that goes right angle turns and you're swimming on the outside, you end up swimming about
you end up swimming more
longer, basically. Yeah. So you swim more, you get a slower time. But like anything, it's like depends if you just want to finish or you want to like compete or get the best time possible. It all depends, doesn't it, what you want out of it. But yeah, swimming, I think for most people is the hardest thing, because everyone who says, "Oh, I would love to do a triathlon, but I can't swim," it's like I've heard it a million times, and it really is the hardest thing. And some people swim, and they're like, "I just can't get faster." Their swim times stay the same. The thing is, swimming is so technique based. People don't understand. I think people look at people who swam when they were kids, and they've come back to swimming like 20 years later to do a triathlon, and some people are just so quick. And they're like, "Oh, but how are they so fast?" They don't look athletic, but it's all technique. Yeah. It's crazy the technique that goes into swimming.
That was for me the most insane thing. I was like, how in the hell am I going to swim 2 kilometers if I cannot swim 100 meters without drowning?
Yeah.
Because I cannot breathe.
Yeah.
Because I get gassed out instantly.
So do you swim now?
I haven't swum in ages.
Really?
Yeah.
But is your goal still to do a triathlon at some point?
Yes.
It is.
I'm saying, I don't want to say it because yes, it is, but I'm not really doing anything for it. Like I do run because I want to do full marathon this year or in January, but
it's hard to be motivated if you don't have something to aim for.
I know. Yeah.
You're better off just booking something now. Like I mentioned to you earlier, the T100 series that they're coming to Dubai in November, and I think it's 80% sold out now. So like if you don't book in the next probably week, it's going to be sold out. So if you just booked it,
and then I just have to,
and then you like have to swim, it's like it gives you something.
Did you book it?
I booked it. Yeah.
I don't even have a bike. That's another issue.
But I have a bike. I have a spare bike.
Do you?
You're the same height as me, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I have a road bike and a triathlon bike. So if you wanted a bike,
what's the difference?
The road bike is like what they ride in the Tour de France with the drop-down handlebars. Okay. And then the triathlon bike is where you're like
you have this thing.
Like aero.
Do you have the helmet with the aerodynamic?
Yeah, I have an aero helmet.
I feel like an alien when
yeah, I don't have it. Have you seen the new ones in the Tour de France?
Are they like the big ones?
Yeah,
like
those
weird?
huge ones that the Visma Lisa bike team, the big yellow things. Yeah, that's a bit crazy. I think I've just got a regular car. It's called Cask, the brand.
Do you actually feel difference when you?
You don't feel the difference, but you see the difference. There's a huge difference. Yeah, like on my podcast, the Endurance Exchange, like we talk about like how to get fast for your next race and where you can save watts. Because obviously, the best way to get faster is to be a better cyclist. Obviously, that's like rule number one. Just like train harder, push out more watts, so you're going to go faster. But there are really simple changes you can make, especially in triathlon, to save watts. And an aero helmet saves, I think, at something like 200 watts. If you're pushing 200 watts, an aero helmet saves you about 15 watts or so, they say, which is like to gain 15
I guess
watts.
It adds up, right? The small different, like, do you shave your legs and stuff?
Yeah, I shave my legs.
Does it add up as well? Do you save like 1 watt?
I don't know. Like people say it saves watts. Like I wax my arms and my hands, everything. But
before the race, yeah.
Yeah, but I don't know whether that's like a mental thing, because people say like if you feel good, you race good, and blah. Do you know what I mean? I don't know if that's like a psychological thing. I think maybe shaving your legs and your arms is like a watt here and there, which over 90k is really nothing. But like, I mean, if you rock up all hairy and there's hair like coming out of your skin suit, it's like you don't feel that aerodynamic. Do you know what I mean? So I don't know if it's a mental thing or anything, but I mean, if the pros do it, why don't we all just jump on the bandwagon? Because that's triathlon in a nutshell, mate. If you turn up to any triathlon event, you'll see these amateurs who are like just average swimmers, cyclists and runners. They have all the gear, especially in Dubai. Like, it's almost
people
like...
have money, so they just buy the most expensive bikes, most expensive wetsuits, and the one that like floats you and stuff like that, right?
Yeah. That's the crazy thing, is the money that goes into triathlon is insane. It's almost like I wish I'd never did triathlon because I'm so...
I know, like, which one you would say is the most expensive? Because then somebody would say, running is not really expensive, but then like you need good shoes as well.
Yeah.
But then cycling, I guess, is the worst, right?
Cycling is the most expensive by far.
Bike is like infinite level of price.
Yeah. And then once you buy a decent bike, there's always upgrades you can make.
Yeah.
Always upgrades.
And you need like the special pedals, special shoes, special suits for it, the computer.
Yeah.
Service it and stuff like that.
Everything. Yeah, you can get different chain rings, different gears, different all sorts, mate. Honestly,
you might as well just buy a motorbike.
I know. It's endless. It's actually endless, the stuff you can buy. Like, yeah, running and swimming is the cheapest. But then again, if it depends how far you want to take it. Like now, obviously, with like the carbon shoe being, it's almost like if you don't wear a carbon shoe, you're basically giving away like minutes on a run, they say. So,
I mean, the wetsuits as well. I checked the wetsuits. Like,
yeah,
you have wetsuits for like $1,000, $2,000.
Yeah,
it depends how far you want to go. And
exactly.
they like float you. They have like more aerodynamic and stuff like that, right?
Yeah, and it's like a lot to do with like how loose the shoulders feel. Because obviously you don't want to be restricted like with your swimming movement. So they're making wetsuits now where it feels like a skin suit, but it's still a wetsuit. Mate, the technology in these things are crazy. And the thing is, I don't know where it's ever going to end because there's always going to be like a new wetsuit that's going to cost a load more that has this technology. And I think at the moment, I bought a road bike, an aerodynamic road bike when I first started. This is like the first upgrade I made. I did a couple of sprint distance triathlons to like dip my toes in, as they say in England, to sort of get started. And then it was like, right, okay, I did okay in those. I want to go to like the longer distance triathlons. Like,
you want to do the full one, yeah?
I want to ideally do a full one at one point, yes.
So full one is what, 4 kilometers swim?
3.8k swim, so basically 4k. Then 180 kilometers on the bike, and then a full marathon.
And that usually takes people approximately around like 12 hours to 13 hours?
I think the world record is like 7 hours something. They did like a specialized event where they tried to go under 7 hours, and they did. But they basically worked out that like the reason why they went under 7 hours was because they had a team to make one person go fast. And on the bike, it was all on the bike basically. Like once you're in a little peloton and you had cyclists in front of you, it was easier. Because in triathlon you can't draft. I mean, when it's not policed, there's a lot of drafting.
It's like not allowed.
It's not allowed. Yeah, the rule is 12 meters.
Oh wow.
So like I raced in Oman in February. And I mean, everyone who knows anything about triathlon in Dubai knows that like Middle Eastern triathlon events is just drafting central. So, I mean, there was even an amateur.
Just don't give a shit, yeah?
Mate, there was an amateur photographer who took a video of people coming in to transition to, and it was like a train of like 10 people wheel to wheel. And the comment section got like 200 comments in half an hour of people saying, this guy rode past me, blah, 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 blah. Then you go on their Strava afterwards and you check the power meter, the power profiles of the bike. You can't find them anywhere because they've obviously cheated the whole way around, and they've...
So that's actually called cheating when you just use...
Yeah. But because we're amateurs and we're not pros, we're not making money from it.
Yeah, because it's not like World Championship.
Exactly. It's not being policed that much, and people are like, oh, who cares? It's like, just ride. You know, some people are good enough to ride past them and away from them. But for people like me who aren't the best cyclists, like, you know, these people put like 10 minutes into me on the bike, but they pushed less watts than me. And it's like, you look at it and it's insane. And I'm always like, it doesn't matter as long as you try your best and you like keep your own integrity. It doesn't matter to me so much. But for example, I came third in my age group at Ironman Oman 70.3, which is the half distance Ironman. But the guy that came second in front of me, he was the guy that got called out the most for cheating. Now, if he got a 5-minute time penalty, which is what you get for cheating, he would have finished 5th. And it meant that the geezer in 4th place is a guy I know from Abu Dhabi, an Irish guy. He missed out on a world champ slot because this geezer cheated. So like, I don't mind people cheating because they're only cheating themselves, but now my mate didn't get a ticket to world champs because the geezer in front of me cheated the whole way around, you know? And it was embarrassing because when I went on Strava afterwards to find his information of the race, you can't find his bike leg anywhere. His swim went up, his run went up, but the bike disappeared.
Yeah.
Don't know where it's gone.
Conveniently.
So
you got World Championship.
yeah, I qualified. So that's this December in New Zealand.
Damn.
Yeah, so it'll be my second one because I went to World Champs last year. So I basically did the same thing. I did Oman 2023, qualified for Finland World Champs last year, which was a surprise because I was doing it for fun at the beginning. Obviously, I'm trying to push myself as hard as I can.
So after only 2 years of training, you qualified for World Championship.
Yeah.
Fucking amazing.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. Yeah, I was actually pretty buzzing with that, to be fair.
That's so cool.
And then I did it again this year. But obviously, you kind of, every time you do a race, you think you can do better. It's insane. It's like, it's almost like, where's the finish line ever going to be? And I don't think there ever is a finish line, which is kind of the cool thing about it. Because I did World Champs and it's like, yeah, I did World Champs. I did okay in the race. Had a big crash on the bike.
Really?
Yeah, a massive crash on the bike. Yeah.
But you like got up and continued?
Got up and carried on, yeah. It was like, I don't know how, like I was super lucky the bike ended up flipping and I ended up in a ditch, but I landed in grass. So the bike, the handlebars were sort of like off to the side. And
but like no injury, you were fine?
No injury, I had a bang on the hip and a bang on the knee, bang on the elbow.
But was it collision with someone else or?
No, I was on a dead flat road. It was wet the whole day, raining the whole day. And it was like, it was like a nice rolling bike course. And, you know, sometimes you go down here and you go, oh, this is a little bit scary, you know. But there was this big, long, straight road. And I'd been cycling pretty much with this one guy for like 25, 30K. And he was French. And even though you're not drafting someone like wheel to wheel, you have to keep 12 meters. But even off 12 meters, you can sort of get some sort of benefit. So we were doing like, I don't know, 3 or 4K each, and then I would surge past him and do 3 or 4K or whatever. And I went past him on this big straight and I thought, oh, lovely, like dead straight road. I don't have to like look up or try and wipe my visor. I can see the whole thing. Put my head down for 1 second and went bang, hit a pothole. And my arm fell out of the aero bars, because you know you have the bars like this, and one arm came out and the bike started doing this. And I remember thinking, just grab anything.
Like
and
you went like what, 30 kilometers, 40 kilometers
I was doing about 45 to 50 kilometers an hour. And I just felt the back wheel doing this. And then I don't know what happened, but you know when you see like MotoGP, the bikes wiggle, don't they? And then all of a sudden you end up going pinging in the air. I just remember just going up. And I remember like seeing the sky and then seeing my bike going over me and thinking, oh God. And I landed, I just remember seeing green everywhere because I was in a ditch with grass, luckily.
Very
like,
lucky.
I was so lucky. But then I just heard my bike, like carbon fiber, hit the deck and then it was like, and I got up and I was thinking, right, check nothing's broken, like check my wrist was up, like my hand wasn't hanging off or something. And I was like, right, I'm okay. Luckily, there was 2 people that stopped. Because you get some people even qualify for World Champs who aren't there to race. They're there just because they've qualified and they're there for the experience, you know. And there was one American guy, and I don't know his name, don't know his number, but he stopped and he was like, hey man, is everything okay? Like, you know, I can call an ambulance if you want, blah, blah, blah. And I was checking, I was going, no, I think I'm good, I'm okay. I walked to my bike, which is like 10 meters down the road. And it was amazing, like my visor from my helmet was next to my bike. My 2 bottles were on the floor next to my bike. Everything was like, okay. The chain was still on. It was like, everything was there ready to go. Yeah, I didn't even see any scratches. The handlebars were a little bit bent, but he was like, take your time, slow down, like don't get on your bike. And I said, no, mate, I think I'm okay. And he's like, are you bleeding? Like, and I was checking, I was going,
it's so nice of him that he stopped the race.
I'd love to know his name. I'd love to ring him and say thank you, because it was so nice of him. And I hopped back on the bike, got going. He goes, you know, if you feel, and I thought to myself, if in 5 minutes I feel a bit dizzy or not right, I'll just stop, because I know.
If you get concussion, that's not fun.
And I kept riding. I was going, no, I'm pretty good. I feel good. The only problem I had was my gears are electronic. Like everyone rides electronic gears now, basically. And when you have a crash, your gears go into this setting called crash mode. So if your derailleur which is like the back part of the bike, which like changes the gears, if it's bent and you change gears, sometimes it can snap off. So to protect it, the gears, it doesn't allow you to change gear. But because I was going on a dead flat road and it was like, you know, as fast as I could go, I was in the biggest gear possible.
And it just stayed there.
And it stayed in the biggest gear. So I ran up 3 hills, obviously like to the end of the race. I had like 50 kilometers left in the biggest gear that I could possibly do. So I'd see a hill in the distance and I'd be like, bloody hell, I'm gonna have to like sprint up to it just to try and get over it, you know? And I'd be like pedaling, like doing like RPM of 40 or something. And some guys would come spinning past me and they were like, bro, are you okay or whatever? And I'd get off the bike and be walking and guys were like, are you okay, bro? Did you crash? And I was like, no, it's okay, no problem, no worries. But if you check my data, it's crazy because you see the speed go way down, and that's when I was running up hills and stuff. But obviously in my cycling shoes, it was super wet, it was cold. Man, it was horrible. I just was thinking to myself, just get to the run and then at least I can warm up.
Yeah.
Because by this point, man, I was shivering. It was so cold, so cold.
And then did you warm up during the run?
I warmed up a bit, yeah. I couldn't feel my feet when I put my shoes on. And I think for the first maybe 2 or 3K, I was like, this is miserable. But then like the blood started moving and yeah, I ended up running pretty okay, to be honest. So
what was the whole time of it?
The whole time I think was around 4 hours 30.
And that was the 70.3?
That's 70.3.
Ironman, yeah?
Yeah, so the half-Ironman. So it's literally half of what you said. It's 1.9K swim, 90K bike, and then a half marathon. Which is like...
sounds like a nice distance.
Yeah, I like that distance because it's like a mixture of endurance and speed.
Yeah.
Whereas I feel like when I first heard about doing the full distance Ironman, someone put it to me as, it's not how fast you go, it's how slow you don't go. And I was like, okay, that makes sense. But then everyone likes to go hard. Do you know what I mean? Like the whole fun of racing is like...
Once you already do it, you just push it.
Exactly. It's kind of fun to be on the limit of blowing up and like finishing well, you know? And I feel like in an Ironman, I've never done one, so I can't really comment, but like I'd like to nail the 70.3 distance first. And then when I do a full distance Ironman, I want to race it. I don't just want to like complete it. Do you know what I mean? It's like, there's like a different way of racing it. And yeah, that's why I think I like the 70.3 distance, because you can push a little bit hard on the bike and you can get on the run and do a half marathon and like go hard instead of thinking, right, I'll start really slow and just like...
Just to survive.
Just to finish it, yeah, exactly. So
how many of the half ones you did?
I've done 4 now. Yeah, I did Oman, Poland, and then World Champs in Finland, and then Oman. And then I've got my next one in 2 weeks in Manchester, in Bolton.
Nice.
So yeah.
So from those you did, which one was your favorite?
Oh, favourite? Probably Finland, World Champs.
The one where you crashed?
Yeah. Yeah, it's weird, isn't it? Because it's like, they were all good for different reasons. Like Oman was good because it was my first one and I had no expectations. It was just to go and enjoy it. And obviously every one you do after that, you have something to go off, you know? It's like, oh, I swam this last time, so I should try and swim this. Poland was incredible because my girlfriend's Polish and I managed to stay with her family and they all came and watched. And that was amazing for like the atmosphere, the day out, like, you know, it was amazing. Like the support was crazy.
The support there, yeah.
And like the bike course in Poland is beautiful. And it's so funny because I didn't know how beautiful Poland was as a country. I went there once when I was 16 on a school trip and it rained for 2 days and it was horrible. And I remember...
It's not much different from England, though.
Yeah, it's basically the same as England. And I remember leaving Poland thinking, this is the most miserable place ever. But then I swam in like this beautiful lake. The bike course was through this forest and the countryside. And I was like, this is Poland. Like, it was almost, it felt like Switzerland, you know? And it was Poland. I'm like, why do people leave Poland? It's beautiful here. And it was so cheap as well. I couldn't believe it. So I loved it for that experience and like getting to meet my girlfriend's family. They all came out and made it what it was. It was crazy. It was so nice. But then Finland, we like rented this log cabin in the middle of like the forest, and it was like wooden. We had a sauna, and there was like a group of 4 of us all racing from the UK, and we just had the biggest laugh ever. I look at it as almost like a cool holiday with my best mates. Do you know what I mean? And the guy that I do the podcast with now, my podcast, we shared a room, and we met at a training camp in Spain a few months before, and we shared a room there. And luckily the owner of the club, she put us together thinking, oh, these 2 might get along. And we ended up becoming like best mates. So it was like a holiday with your best mate and a couple of other triathletes who ended up becoming like our best mates. And we were there for like 5-6 days, raced at World Champs, and then just had a laugh. Like, it was the best thing ever.
Boys trip.
It was like a boys' trip, yeah. And the best thing was, is I was saying he works for Range Rover.
Yeah.
And wherever he goes in the world, he gets a Range Rover given to him as like a company car.
No way.
So I got picked up in Finland in this like Range Rover Velar, like this top of the range thing. Just
That's some good perks.
Mate, honestly, it was crazy. It was like, honestly, the best trip. But
So you guys have a podcast. Let's talk about that.
Yes.
Why did you guys start a podcast?
Because we like to chat. Basically, there's no other reason for it. It's like we both talk so much. And he just messaged me the other week and was like, mate, like, I've been thinking about it. Why don't we start a podcast? And I thought, do you know what? Why not? It's like, we don't really speak that much because of time differences and jobs and our work.
He's in the UK, yeah.
He's in the UK, yeah. But it's like that. It's like that anywhere, isn't it? When you live abroad, it's so hard to stay in contact with people
Yeah.
who like you would normally see all the time if you lived in the same place as them. Do you know what I mean? So doing the podcast allowed us to stay in touch and allowed us to like just talk about something and do something different, you know? And it's honestly been the most fun thing I think I've done. But it's like an adventure because it's something that I'm not very good with technology and stuff, but so he looks after all that sort of side of it, which is like what you've done here with this like crazy setup. But I just like talking, basically.
Yeah, you're good at it.
Yeah, thanks.
So you guys started like what, month ago, you said?
Yeah, I think it was
One and
a month and a half or something like that.
And
yeah.
you already have like 6-7 episodes out.
Yeah, we've done 5 episodes.
I was just telling you that you are beating I started like 4 years ago or something.
Was it 4 years ago, was it?
But I always like started, I recorded a few episodes, then I had like one year break.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, let's go back to it.
Yeah. Now we just said, you know, like if we're gonna do it, we'll just make them, we'll just create the content, and then as it goes on, it might get better. Or
Just improve, yeah.
Yeah.
And you
just
do
improve
once
it.
a week or?
We try to do once a week, yeah. But obviously, like because he travels a lot with his work, sometimes we'll record, and then it'll be like a week till it's uploaded, and then it might be a week till we record again. So sometimes it's like it'll be like once a week, or sometimes it'll be like once every 2 weeks.
Oh, but that's still good.
But yeah,
As far as there is some consistency to it.
yeah,
It's really good. And you kind of can keep each other accountable
yeah,
and do it.
yeah.
So I listened to the first episode, and it was as if I was listening to Harry Potter. Like, because you guys have this accent, like same as Harry Potter. Like I was like, this is like your voice sounds like Harry Potter.
Really? No way.
And then the thing I was laughing about is that you both have very similar voice.
Really?
At least to me, as
Yeah.
an English speaker, I don't know. And when I was listening to it, sometimes I didn't know who's talking.
Seriously?
Yeah. Maybe nobody ever told you, maybe it's just me, but...
No, well, luckily we actually have the same accent, so we're both from like the south.
Maybe
of
that's
England.
why, because the accent is the same.
Yeah.
And I was like, wait, who's talking?
Yeah, because we used to work in the same job, so obviously we work with loads of different people from all over the world, and even within the UK, the accents are so different, aren't they? Like, but like you
But
said,
you guys are clear, like you can understand.
yeah,
So that's,
yeah, we have like the Southern English accent. It's like we call it like the Queen's English, even though it's
the
not
posh one, yeah.
as posh.
I was
as,
about
like,
to say, it's like the posh accent.
yeah, it's like the posh English. Yeah,
That's why it's like Harry Potter. Like.
yeah, that's it. Yeah, you don't get like many people in Harry Potter from like the north, do you? You don't get like Scousers
Yeah, I guess not.
on Harry Potter, I don't think. So yeah, but at least you can understand us, right?
Yeah, it's good.
Okay, that's the main thing.
I really like it. It's really fun. I recommend to everyone listen to it. Even if you don't want to do triathlons or not interested in it, I think it's just fun what you guys talk about.
Yeah, because that's the balance we're trying to make is like how much information do we give? Because we're not professional athletes, we're not scientists, but we're also just age groupers who enjoy doing triathlon.
But it's good because you talk about your experience. So
Yeah.
you're not necessarily giving scientific advice, but you give advice from what you experience, and I think that's the best possible advice.
Yeah, I think so as well. Yeah, because that's why I love doing. That's why I love talking to people. I just love learning people's stories, and like when you reached out to me,
Same,
and you
vice
said-
versa, yeah.
I find sometimes people more interesting than the actual topic. Sometimes, like I watch runners on YouTube and influencers like triathletes and stuff, and sometimes I'm more interested in their life and what they do rather than like.
Yeah, as I was saying, like I think it's when you start to like someone as the personality of some person, then you just started to be interested in what they are doing, regardless what they are doing.
Yeah.
And that can be interesting. You guys talked about peeing and pooping during the races. That was very interesting to me because I did the half marathon in Ras Al Khaimah in February.
Yeah.
And there was, the second one only, but the first one I was fine. I didn't need to pee.
Yeah.
This one so I ran it in like just under 2 hours. I think after like 30, 40 minutes into the race, I really needed to pee, like
Really?
so badly, but I didn't want to stop. And not that I was going for some crazy time, but still, I just don't like to stop when I run.
Yeah.
And at the same time, I needed to drink water because I was like having these gels and trying to like, so I was still drinking more water and just needed to pee so badly. So I didn't go. I lasted till the end, but fuck, I almost exploded.
Did the urge to pee go? Did it disappear over time?
Not really.
Did it not?
It was kind of like motivation more than anything.
Really?
I was just like, it was pushing me. I need to go faster regardless of the pain. I just need to like finish this race. Maybe that's why I got like a little bit better time than I expected I would have. Because I just needed to pee so badly.
That's mad. Because I sometimes need to pee, and then the urge will disappear. But there is absolutely...
You reabsorb it.
Or you sweat it out or something. But there is absolutely no way that I can pee when I run. It's impossible.
I don't know if it's possible.
Man,
I guess it is possible. People do it, right?
Since that podcast, mate, 2 people have messaged me saying I can do it.
They while running, they
while
pee.
running.
Just like let it go.
Let it go.
I need to try.
No, I tried. It's impossible. I swear I've tried. Like when I crashed in Finland, I don't know if I said on the podcast, but I peed on the bike.
I think you said that, yeah.
Yeah,
so
because
on the bike, is it?
On the bike's way easier. But I just...
So to me, that's like just quite crazy. People it's just normal to pee on the bike.
Yeah, because it's like a 4.5-hour race, and think how much hydration you take on.
So then it must be some kind of smell around the changing area and stuff, no?
Oh, maybe. But the thing is like the race was wet, the whole race.
Oh, because it was raining.
I was soaking wet.
Okay,
so when I crashed, I was free. Because I stopped, I got so cold.
Yeah.
So when I got back on the bike, I was cycling and I was going, fuck, I need to pee and I'm freezing. I was like, if I'm ever going to pee, like now's the perfect time. And mate, I peed and all I remember thinking was, God, I wish I had a bit more in me because my legs got warm, my feet got warm and everything. And you
just drinking water like I
yeah, and I couldn't see anything because it was like I was really soaking wet. Do you know what I mean? It was literally perfect.
That's nice.
But people who can run and pee, I can't do it when I'm swimming either. Like you have to stop for sure. But
yeah, that I cannot even when I'm just in water, not touching the ground and just kind of like trying to tread the water. I cannot pee.
Can you not?
No.
Okay, no, I can.
I need to like maybe float or something.
Yeah, like lean back, like
Yeah.
lay down and really enjoy it. Yeah.
Let it go.
No, but it's a talent.
Okay, what about taking the shit during the...
No, never. I can't do that. No.
People do that, right?
People do that, yeah, but there's portaloos. Yeah.
But then...
But like but then for example, there have been some pro athletes, even in Finland, the famous, the girl who won it, she was so far ahead in the lead, she had to go toilet. She jumped in a portaloo, did the business, got out, finished the race and won.
Oh.
So like...
She was so far ahead, okay.
She smashed it. So like,
good for her.
She managed to go toilet, but I don't know, like I've never had the issue of doing a number 2, like during a race. Maybe because the race, I know. I've had the problem of like before...
Knock on the wood.
Yeah, here we go. I've had the problem like before the race, needing to go, or like, because I think the nervous energy makes you feel like you need to go.
I need to like...
You're like, I need to go to the toilet, and then you can't go, and it's the worst feeling. And then you start the race thinking, I need to go. But then once you settle in, it's like, it's normally fine.
Someone told me, I forgot who, a friend told me, there was this Expo run. What was it? 10K, maybe half marathon in Expo, a couple months back. There was a friend and she was running there. I didn't do that one. And she said that there was a woman who, she like shot herself while running. But then I'm like, and she wasn't like pro runner or anything, the one who shot herself. It was like just normal time. And it's just a half marathon as well. Yeah. So you're not trying to win, you're just kind of like doing it, I guess, for enjoyment, and you shit yourself. Like, why don't you stop going for the toilet? Like, it's not a big deal, I guess, if you're not
going for a world record.
I would understand if you're like in the leading positions, you're like, fuck it, like, that's it, I'm just letting it go because I need to win. But if you just kind of like, I'm here to enjoy this run, let me just...
Yeah.
And then she continued, you know? It's like, and everybody could see it. So,
No, definitely. If you're just there to enjoy it, use a toilet for sure. It's not worth the extra 2 minutes in the toilet's like worth it.
And then like running with covered with like your own shit, and
it would be the most it must be the most painful thing ever. Honestly, I couldn't think of anything worse.
Yeah.
But luckily you don't see it. I haven't actually seen anyone do that. I know that, I don't know if you know of a YouTuber called Average Rob. Belgian guy.
No, I don't think so.
He's got a big YouTube channel, and him and his brother decided they wanted to do an Ironman full distance, and they had like 8 or 9 months to get fit for it. And Rob, the guy whose YouTube channel is quite a good athlete, and his brother's like less so, but they both trained for this Ironman, did this Ironman in Austria. But it's so funny because when they finished, the second guy came off over the line and he said, you know, I was just on my bike cycling, head down, and he said, I just smelt shit. And he's like, and then I looked up and the guy in front of me just had this massive stain all the way up his back.
Geez.
And I just thought, mate, like, I mean, they're doing the Ironman in 13, 14 hours. So he's going to be sat with that on running with that for 14 hours, the whole day. It's like, if it's going to be that much, just get off, use the portaloo, or even a tree, or just like hide somewhere, or knock on someone's door and say, excuse me, like, can I use your toilet? Because peeing yourself, you can get away with, but number two's.
And then like I would understand if there is swimming after biking.
Yes.
So then you can like wash it off.
Yeah, like a backwards triathlon would be perfect, wouldn't it? Yeah.
Why don't they do that? I would love backwards. Then you just kind of chill swimming.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, but still, imagine all the people then swimming behind you after that.
Like Snickers going in there.
Oh, can you imagine?
Yeah, let's
Poor them.
not talk about poop anymore.
Yeah.
5 minutes of shit.
So you definitely keen on doing a triathlon now, right?
Yeah, so much.
Yeah.
Just not gonna eat few days before.
Yeah,
There's
don't
nothing
eat.
coming up.
That's it.
Yeah, let's talk about nutrition during racing and during, not even racing, just training in general, because when I started, I didn't know anything about hydration, anything about nutrition. And I think thanks to that, my hydration improved so much, even in just average day life, because I had no idea what electrolytes are, why you need to take them. So lots of people in the beginning, I think when they don't have the knowledge, make the mistakes, and they think that like, oh, I just need to drink lots of water. And they just like drink more and more water, and they don't know that this way you actually just make yourself even more dehydrated. You just flood out all the electrolytes. And then I felt huge improvement when I actually started to like take some electrolytes. But you must have much more experience with that.
Yeah. I think when I first started triathlon, nutrition was the thing that I underestimated the most. It's the thing that I thought, do you know what, I eat healthy, I eat good food. Like, I don't need to worry about eating when I'm training, whatever. Like, I've got good endurance that will get me through, you know? I remember doing my first ever marathon on my own in Dubai. It was like 38 degrees and I went out at like 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and I took 1 bottle of water and no nutrition. And I got to 35K and I couldn't walk by that point. And then it was only when I started training for triathlons that my coach was saying, right, you know, I want you to take this many grams of carbs per hour, and I want you to like take electrolytes, or, you know, he sort of gave me some sort of idea about nutrition and fueling strategies. And not only do you see an improvement in your actual sessions and your racing, you see an improvement in your recovery as well, which is massive. And I had this conversation with a friend of mine the other day as well about electrolytes. I've never been a fan of actually using like electrolyte tablets, because I don't know what it is, but like I think once I checked like the ingredients on electrolyte tablets.
Same. I don't take any like artificial electrolytes. I kind of make my own.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, like.
What do you use? That's interesting.
So I put lime juice, like fresh limes. I squeeze them, usually 2 or 3 limes. I put salt, and I started to put honey as well.
Yeah.
And what else? Is that it? Yeah, and vitamin C. I have like vitamin C powder. That's not part of the electrolytes, but yeah, that's what I do.
Yeah.
Or even just lime juice and salt and water.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, because I don't use the electrolytes during a race. I do have like a mix of electrolytes from a company called Veloforte, and they're like a natural, they only use like natural ingredients. It's like,
but like they all say that, and then they all have one ingredient that's not natural. It's called natural flavorings.
Yeah.
Which is funny enough called natural flavorings, but it's anything but
it's
natural.
still artificial. Yeah. But this one has like coconut extract, and it's all like derived from fruit products basically. But what I do with electrolytes is I tend to eat a lot of fruit around big sessions because I feel like it hydrates me better. So like I'm a massive advocate for coconut water.
Yeah,
like
that's what I do as well,
electrolytes.
like almost every day.
Yeah, that and watermelon.
You were talking about watermelon in your podcast.
Yeah, because, you know, like, I'm not a scientist, and I don't claim to be someone who is, like, completely knowledgeable about certain things, but there are some people, I think, in the space of, like, science who have more credibility than others. And there's one guy that I listen to a lot called Zach Bush, and he on a podcast said once that, like, water in the body isn't in liquid form, like H2O isn't in liquid form, it's in like gel form. And he says, and when you're hydrated, you have more of these gel-like cells in your body. And he says, when you drink water, it's in liquid form, and it's so hard to convert it into this gel form. He said, but when you eat fruit and you drink coconut water and you drink fruit juices, they're already in this gel-like form. So it actually hydrates you better just to eat a piece of fruit.
Because they're attached to fiber as well and everything else.
Yeah, exactly. And he goes into obviously way more detail than that. But that like lit a switch in my head, and I was like, right, I'm gonna really think about that around big, long sessions where fueling is a massive thing. So that was like electrolytes taken care of, and I never really suffered with like dehydration.
So you don't take salt or like increased sodium amount and stuff like that?
I've never done sodium.
Interesting.
Yeah, which is weird. Yeah, I've never done like a...
So I started only because I was watching lots of Nick Bare YouTube.
Yeah.
And he's quite a big advocate for like sodium.
Uh-huh.
And I think I definitely feel improvement, even in my everyday, especially because of Dubai heat, because you sweat so much and you get rid of lots of sodium. So I just started to put lots of salt in my food as well.
Yeah.
Before I used not to, because I think for normal people, it's not really healthy to use lots of salt. But if you train outside a lot in heat conditions, I think it doesn't hurt you. If anything, it just helps you.
Yeah.
Because it somehow helps the cells to get more water in them.
Yeah.
I'm not a scientist, I don't know.
Yeah, no, it definitely makes sense. It's something that like plays on my mind because I go through the stage of like using Himalayan salt on my food.
Yeah.
And then it's like, then you hear something about salt being bad for you, know, and I'm always in this fight of like, yeah, I need electrolytes, but I don't want to also increase my sodium intake to like scary levels that are supposed to be like detrimental to your health at the same time.
Yeah, but I really think in this case, when you are an athlete and training in heat, I think it's very different.
Yeah.
I might be wrong, but from what I heard and read, that's very different because your sodium levels just are very different the way you use them.
Yeah. It'd be interesting actually to try to sort of maybe add salt to my drinks or my nutrition. But I suppose like I haven't seen an issue with it.
Yeah,
I
think if you don't have cramps and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's one thing I'm quite lucky with. I don't tend to suffer from cramps.
Or if you don't have like massive dehydration after training.
Yeah.
And this is what I learned as well. Very important thing that hydration doesn't mean that you just hydrate during the race and after the race, or training. Let's talk about training in general. But before, it starts like a few days before at least.
Yeah.
And that's what lots of people I think don't know or underestimate, that you should actually be already hydrated a few days before and go already hydrated into training and not just like, oh, okay, there's train, so I will just drink lots of water. Yeah,
they always say, don't they? It's like when you're thirsty, you're already dehydrated.
Yeah.
So
and especially in this heat.
In this heat, it's crazy.
Yeah, we just did a training session in the gym on treadmills, which I hate. I hate treadmills, but this was actually doable because we were talking, and it wasn't just like boring, straight, just
1 hour.
But it was like some efforts and stuff, so it's quite. I wouldn't call it enjoyable, but it was.
But the amount we sweat even inside was crazy, right?
Crazy.
It's mental.
And I think the people in the gym hated us.
Yeah.
For being on the treadmills for too long, they complain.
Yeah, 20 minutes. Like, who does a 20-minute training
there is
session?
like a sign in my gym that says maximum 20 minutes allowed. So
yeah.
The security guy after like 45 minutes came and I was like, guys, it's only 20 minutes.
Yeah. Oh, well, lesson learned for next time. We'll do 20 minutes, stop, and then do 20 minutes again, and then
I think
stop.
they have the camera, I think.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
And you are vegan, right?
Vegan, yeah.
For how long?
It will be coming up to 8 years in August. Yeah.
August?
In August is 8 years, yeah.
Okay, so
it's basically 8 years, yeah, wow.
So this is the first time I'm publicly saying that I'm not vegan anymore.
Oh, really?
I think we started the same time then, because in August it would be 8 years for me.
Really?
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah.
Wow, that's crazy.
But I stopped in September, so I did 7 years.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
That's
exactly same.
Yeah, it was
same month.
August 2022, I think. Is that right? No,
No,
2022.
no, 2016,
I
I
was
think.
I was
Yeah,
22
yeah,
years
yeah.
old. Yeah, it was August when I was 22 years old.
Yeah,
So yeah, like 2016 or whatever it is. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, August 2016, I remember that.
Wow. So then the big question is, why are you not vegan anymore?
That is the question.
This
You might just
podcast-
leave the room.
Yeah, this podcast just went from triathlon to like having a massive debate about veganism.
Just have like half of the followers just leave. I think that's why I didn't announce it, because
Yeah.
I just think the whole vegan online space became so toxic for me to kind of be in. Because I'm sure you are aware of it, how they like kind of hate on, especially on people who stop.
Yeah.
They really hate on them.
Yeah.
And even lots of people, the way how they try to pursue people to be vegan is very aggressive and not, I don't see it as the best way to convince someone to be. I think the best way is something like what you do, or I used to do, to like show people that like it is possible and you don't have to struggle. Like you can actually live and enjoy life. What was the question?
Why you're not vegan anymore?
So partially it was because I got like really sick of the community, but that wouldn't be the reason, because I give zero fucks what people think. I for a long time was contemplating of trying to not be vegan anymore. I kind of wanted to try eggs, wanted to try meat again. And then I was in Sicily on Peppan's wedding, you know Peppan?
Yeah.
And I felt like if I ever try meat again, it will be here. It was so good in Italy.
Yeah.
So I tried and I haven't stopped since.
Really?
Yeah.
That's mad, bro.
And I must say, I didn't struggle health-wise. Okay, let's say from the 7 years that I was vegan, first year, absolute shit. I had no idea what I'm doing. I lost fucking 10 kilos. I was like walking skeleton. When I look at my pictures from there, I was like, what the fuck was I doing? And then first few years, I think I was still kind of figuring it out, like what am I actually going to eat and trying. I was always trying to gain weight and always failing. And then only from the 7 years, I think only like last 2 years, I finally figured it out. I cook a lot. I like cooking, and being vegan really motivated me to cook a lot, even more to be creative. And only last 2 years, I think I figured out how can I eat the way that I actually gain weight and feel fit, feel healthy. So it wasn't the issue that I was unhealthy. I just wanted to try how I'm going to feel when I'm not vegan anymore.
Yeah.
And I do feel better.
Yeah.
I very, very, very easily gain weight, like this. Like
Really, yeah.
Very easily. I need to still, for me to gain weight, because I have very quick metabolism, I have to like lift heavy. So now it's kind of like challenge for me to like run a lot and lift heavy, but I manage. Ish. But yeah, so that was the biggest kind of thing for me, that I felt so much better. But there is still this ethical point why I'm still, I wouldn't say I feel guilty, but I'm not.
You're fighting with it.
Yeah, yeah.
So like, do you think that you feel so much better now? You've gone back, like when you think about when you were vegan and you felt good, do you think you feel that much better now than when you were vegan? Or do you still feel?
I feel more satisfied. That's the right word. Yeah.
Satisfied what? Because you're heavier and you feel.
I mean, even just the food-wise, when I eat, I feel more satisfied.
Really?
Even though I can cook really good vegan stuff, and I still cook vegan stuff. I cook maybe once a week, like for 2 days of a week, 3 days of a week, I eat vegan, because I enjoy cooking vegan food.
Yeah.
Probably more than cooking meat. And yes, I feel more satisfied about me, I think.
Yeah.
About having some weight on, having my face more full, like just looking more healthy in general.
Yeah.
I can show you like pictures before and after.
But do you think, because I've been vegan 8 years and there's obviously been times where I lost a lot of weight because I chose to, and I gained a lot of weight and I was pretty heavy. Like, so I don't know, like whether eating meat and not eating meat or being vegan, not being vegan is so much to do with like gaining weight and not gaining weight. It's like I had a friend who went vegan and he ate salads for like a week and he was like, mate, I'm so hungry. This is the last thing I've done.
Course.
And I've gone, mate, like you're having less than 1,000 calories a day. Of course you're going to be hungry, you know? But like, I feel like I've been through the 8 years of being vegan, and I feel like I've done everything. I've lifted heavy, endurance-wise. I've done the same thing, but like you said about the community, the online community, I feel like that's one of the biggest problems in like society in general. It's like there's so much out there, and there's so much, I don't know, toxicity in social media and
100%.
the community and stuff. It's like I like to try and take myself away from what is being said or how other people making people feel, and look at like my principles. And I know that I can be healthy being a vegan. I can also be unhealthy being a vegan.
Yeah,
I can
100%.
gain weight. I can be satiated. I can starve myself and I can do all this being a vegan. But the one thing that never changes for me is that like every time I pay for animal products, I'm paying into a system that I don't agree with morally.
Yeah.
And there's no way that I could feel good in myself, I don't think, knowing what I've paid for. And that's the one thing, even if science turned around and told me that like eating meat is absolutely essential, because if we look at like the scientific consensus, it's like the American Dietetics Association, the British Dietetics Association, the Canadian, all the biggest nutritional groups in the world say that if you have a well-planned vegan diet, it's beneficial for any person at any stage of life. Like that's science. Like you in this day and age, we really don't have to if we don't want to.
Yeah, you don't have to. 100% you don't have to.
It's a complete choice.
And I know it more than anyone because I've been on both sides.
Which is crazy
because
because
you don't have to.
It's crazy because like I could never do it because I know the ethical impact of like where the money goes to, and that's why I can wholeheartedly sit here and say I don't think I will never go back.
So this was me even a year ago.
Really?
I would say literally what you were saying.
Wow.
And this is why I have this internal fight, I think.
Really?
It's still there. It's still.
Yeah.
I'm not 100% like, I don't know if I might be vegan again.
But if you like took away social media, because like me interviewing you now, it's like if you took away social media and what you saw and you just went, right, I'm not gonna listen to what anyone else says. I'm not gonna look at certain influencers who have probably influenced you into thinking eating meat is like completely beneficial. I don't know what, like you might have whatever reasons, but do you think if you didn't have influences from the outside, you'd still be vegan? Or do you think you'd still always have this thing where you're like, I still want to try and eat meat? Because for 22 years, I was the biggest meat eater ever. I used to love dairy, cheese, everything. And when I went to being vegan as a dare to begin with, I was like, wow, I feel so good. But then when I educated myself on what happens to animals, I was like, well, it's not only my like health that I'm interested in now,
actually.
And even the environment, like environmental impacts of eating meat. Like, everyone always says, but what's me going vegan going to change? But like, obviously, if a million people said it, it's a different story. But I don't even know where I was going with the question. But
I think you were asking
if you didn't have all those those voices in your head, do you think you'd still be vegan?
Very difficult question to answer.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
It's hard, isn't it?
Honestly, I don't know. But I genuinely wanted to try anyway.
Yeah.
I think for the long time I was thinking about it.
Yeah.
And that's why I think this is why I didn't get influenced by any side, kind of. I just I just want to try.
Really?
And
It's so interesting, bro.
Yeah.
So interesting.
And it's, I don't know, I'm still contemplating it. I'm still kind of like deciding what am I doing. Because I hear you, and trust me, I know more than most people about, like, for me, the only reason to be vegan, valid reason, is the animals and the suffering and the unethical. It's not even unethical or immoral. It's fucking disturbing.
It's pretty crazy, right? Yeah.
Because I know I can be healthy on vegan diet, as I was. I know the environmental impact is questionable, because even vegan products, it's just, I think it's very questionable. I know vegan people and vegan social media will tell you otherwise, that it's only meat that's destroying the planet and all that shit, but it's both ways. But yeah, the animals definitely is the only reason.
Yeah.
That's...
Well, luckily, nutrition in triathlon is pretty much all vegan, isn't it?
I know, and you and lots of other pro athletes are proving that you don't need to eat meat, and actually they're thriving. Like, how many athletes are?
Yeah, there's quite a few now, I think, in the space. I think there's a lot as well that find such an improvement that people are actually saying
The recovery is usually better, they say.
recovery
right?
is very good. Yeah, but I heard that people are even hiding that they're plant-based because
Really?
they don't want other people to go plant-based because they feel like they have such an advantage.
No way.
Yeah, I've heard that from people.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, it could be. I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, I even think like Mark Cavendish, because I read his book and he went plant-based after he had like a load of health problems, and he's still plant-based. I don't know his full story, if he's vegan, whatever, for whatever reason, but he went plant-based after his health issues, and he ended up winning a couple more stages of the tour. So shows you like it can be done. It's just obviously,
Yeah, 100%.
yeah. Oh, but like I said, I'm not here to judge anyone.
Yeah.
It's that I do me, and I'm never going to be like influenced into like agreeing with what people say, because I still think it's wrong. But you know, everyone's on their own journey, so to speak. And
like I would hate when like I get judged by people who like, and it's just this stupid talk, like somebody just turned vegan and they're like 1 year vegan, and it's like the stage when you just like get fucking like hype about it and very emotional about it, and you want to just spread it to the world.
Yeah.
And then they would judge someone like me who did 7 years, who did much more than them already. And I'm not.
It's such a hard topic, isn't it? I think because there's such a big ethical impact that it's like it creates such a talking point, because it's almost like I'm better than you because
And
you know
that's
what I mean?
People start feeling superior because because what I do is more right than what you do.
Yeah. And that's where the tough thing comes in. But like I said, at least gels in triathlon, like obviously apart from recovery shakes where people like can use whey protein and stuff, but like gels and carbohydrate mix and everything that you use to fuel endurance sports is basically sugar anyway, because we need sugar to use as fuel. So if you go and buy like a carb mix or energy gels for if you're running, you're guaranteed unless it's got maybe honey in it or something. But most of these products don't. They're normally like so artificial and sugar based that it's basically just pure sugar anyway.
Do you have any favorites?
Velo Forte is the one that I tend to use the most because it is the most naturally.
And you find it in Dubai, yeah?
You can, yeah. But I buy it in the UK, but it's pretty expensive. Shout out Velo Forte for their expensive
You can
products.
sponsor it.
Yeah, sponsor me instead or something. Do you know what I mean? But no, like even now I've started doing I've done a bit of research, and even people are reverting to using just sugar water.
Really?
Yeah. And
like
it's
regular
sugar.
White sugar.
If you're on 90 grams of sugar per hour, you pour 90 grams of sugar into a saucepan, fill it up.
That legit works?
Yeah, just cook it on the stove.
But isn't it different to like, when you take sugar from fruits, it's very different than processed sugar.
Yeah,
so like mashed banana or something rather than have a smoothie with you.
No, there's this like ratio of like maltodextrin to sucrose or whatever it is, or fructose or whatever it is. Again, I'm not the scientist on it, but there's like this ratio of like 0.8 to 1, and sugar falls within that. White sugar falls within that ratio that's like used for energy in endurance sports. And
because I had one gel that was just pure honey with salt.
Oh really?
They sell it here in Dubai.
What?
It's literally, I don't know the name of it. It's called, I don't know what it's called, but it's literally just honey.
Yeah.
And sea salt.
Really?
So it kind of tastes nice because it's... So I was wondering, like, how can this be energy gel? Because it's just sugar.
But then you could make that on your own and make like 20 of them, and it'd be like a quarter of the price.
So funny thing, when I was preparing for my first half marathon, I was like, I'm not gonna fucking buy gels, they're expensive. I'm gonna make my own. I made like a smoothie.
Yeah.
Like I make smoothie every day, like put lots of dates, banana, water, I don't know, blueberries, shit like that. And I bought these little plastic bottles, which I thought it's such a... I thought like, I'm so smart, like, why would I buy gels? Because I bought these plastic bottles from Daiso, you know, from this Japanese place, Japanese, Chinese, whatever.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm the smartest person in the world because I can refill them, I can reuse them, like, I'm not gonna waste money on gels. So I bought 2 of these little bottles. So first of all, to make this kind of smoothie that's actually saturating you and has some stuff in it, it becomes quite thick, right?
Yeah.
So to get it into these bottles was like almost impossible. I was like, fuck, like how am I gonna get it?
Yeah.
I somehow managed, I put it in. And then these bottles had like the screw cap. So like, this is so smart.
It didn't have like a straw, so like you squeeze.
No, so I was, maybe if I got,
unscrew the thing.
Yeah, so I had it in like my pouch, but I didn't take it from, at least I fucking tried it before I went for few days before only, but at least it was before I went for the half marathon.
Yeah.
I went for a run just here in Marina, and I was like, I'm just gonna try it out. Like so stupid. I felt like an idiot, like running, taking out of there. I was trying to unscrew it while you run, you know.
Oh my!
I lost the thing.
No way.
Of course, I dropped it. I was like, okay, fucking like it's cheap. I can buy another one. Trying to squeeze it, you cannot even squeeze it because it's still plastic. It wasn't like so soft. So trying to squeeze it, I squeezed maybe like one sip worth. And I couldn't anymore. It was like all kind of like, because it was warm, so it all kind of got like stuck in there. It's just fucking miserable. I was like, maybe just this one. And then the second one, same issue, lost the thing as well.
No way.
It's like impossible because I had sweaty, you know?
Yeah,
like trying to...
Yeah, when you're trying to run, it's actually, it's hard to do.
When you run and anything you're trying to do with your arms in the middle of your body is just fucking annoying.
Yeah.
It's just like...
Yeah.
Completely, and then your heart rate goes up, it's like messes you up. So I was like,
and when you're trying to drink as well or trying to swallow, it's like your heart. It's so hard.
So I was like, fuck, like it's such a failure. I was like, okay, fuck it, like I'm buying this gel.
Yeah. Just for convenience.
Yeah, like, I'm not doing this anymore.
Yeah, for me, Velo Forte are very good. Like
Okay,
I like the
let's
taste of
try
them, and they have another one in Dubai called Huma.
I was about to ask you if you know Huma, because I tried those.
Yeah, they're good.
Yeah, they were pretty good.
I'll go for them as well, but the thing is, man, it's so expensive.
Yeah, it was like 16 dirhams for one or something like that. That's like, what, $5?
Yeah. You can obviously buy them in like packets, and like, you know, in a bundle, and it's a bit cheaper. But because now I've reverted to trying to use carb drink mixes more than gels, just because I find it easy just to drink and get your carbs in.
Put it in a bottle?
Put it in a bottle. So like that bottle I used earlier.
So is it like kind of like protein powder you just mix?
Basically, it's like that. Yeah, but it's just a carb drink mix. So it's like 2 scoops is like 44 grams of carbs.
Really?
Yeah.
Does it dissolve completely? Is it?
It dissolves, yeah. I've tried filling it up with 4 scoops, obviously, because that would be 88 grams of carbs. And when I raced, I tried to hit the 90 gram carbs per hour. 90 to 100 grams of carbs is like my goal. So if I do 4 scoops in a bottle and shake it up, sometimes it gets stuck at the bottom.
I was about to ask, what if you would like 15 scoops?
Yeah.
It's gonna make it
smoothie out. Properly dissolve in, but that's what I've been testing on this like training block, like trying to find the right amount of carbs I can put in a bottle so I can lessen the amount of gels I take when I'm racing. Because the worst thing is when you're in aero.
I cannot even imagine on a bike.
To try and because I even once in Poland, I even had like this Velo Forte like date bar because I was like, I wanted to choose something. It sounds really weird.
No, I as I said, I did only like half marathon, and I was, after like third gel, I was like, which you don't even need gels for such a short distance, but I tried.
Yeah.
And I was like, I just want something like to chew as well, because it's just, my mouth was like sticky. And
yeah, I know, it was weird. And then I had this date bar, and as soon as I had the first bite, I was like, regret. So bad. Yeah, I was like, tasted delicious, don't get me wrong. And I was pretty skinny for that race. Like, I was probably underweight.
Yeah.
I think I weighed in like 65 kilos before the race. Yeah.
How much are you now?
I sit at around 70, 71 now, but I've purposely tried to put on weight because, like long story short, like you don't really need the watts per kilo benefit in triathlon. It's not like I'm climbing mountains like the Tour de France races or whatever. But so I've tried to increase my calories basically and sit at a higher weight. So I'm probably around 70, 71 kilos now. But imagine me with 5 kilos less. I was like a rake, you know. And then when I got on the bike course, I remember thinking, I fancy this date bar. Like I'm hungry. Do you know what I mean? I wasn't even starving myself. I just wasn't fueling properly. I don't think. Yeah. Until like obviously I raced, and obviously I was hitting 90 grams of carbs per hour. But yeah, I think I've tried to incorporate using bottles with carb mixing just because it's so much easier than getting a gel out, taking the top off, and also swallowing a gel is actually, it's harder than it sounds. Like, it makes you so out of breath. So the less gels that I can take, the better, I think. I'll probably still use them on a run. I have a couple of spare, and obviously like the caffeine ones for when you do like a long race, like a 70.3, you get that like extra hit of caffeine. Because caffeine's another thing we haven't touched upon, but like this triathlon is such a big sport with so many different things to talk about. It's like you could do like a 4-hour podcast, no problem. You wouldn't hit.
So caffeine, I don't drink coffee.
Really?
I'm very, very sensitive to caffeine.
Same.
I had to stop completely for the past 2 years maybe.
Yeah.
Because my heart just Like,
Really?
it's going crazy. I love coffee.
Yeah.
I just cannot.
Do you drink decaf?
unfortunately. No, I tried a few times. It just sucks.
Really?
It tastes like piss.
You tasted piss, yeah.
Just a little bit.
Yeah, just a bit. Yeah, when I was desperate this one time. No, that's funny you say that because, yeah, I did a lot of research when I got into triathlon. Obviously, every triathlete you ever listen to is like, yes, recovery is the most important thing. The most important thing for recovery is sleep. The worst thing for sleep is caffeine.
Yeah.
So I was like, right, that's it. I'm never going to drink caffeine ever again. And like you, I love coffee. I think it's delicious. Like,
Yeah, I love it.
It's nothing better than waking up and having a coffee. So, yeah, I went for a period of time where I didn't drink coffee for like a few months, and I loved it. I actually did sleep better, or at least feel like I slept better and deeper.
You probably did.
I think so, because I was drinking a lot of coffee before. But then it got to the point where like I would be doing a massive session, and I'd be like, "Wow, I could do with something like just a little pick me up, you know." And then I was like, did a bit more research about caffeine. You know, if you have it after 12 o'clock, it can affect your sleep, and if you have it even 10 o'clock. So I was thinking, do you know what? If I have a massive session and I'm starting at 6 a.m., guess what? I'm gonna have a double espresso. And I had this one double espresso before this session once. I'll never forget it. I just remember I felt like someone had injected me with
Like the Hulk.
oh, it literally felt like the Hulk. It felt unbelievable. And I thought, okay, I will save it. Because obviously then I'm sensitive to coffee. Whereas before I could have a double espresso and go to bed. Obviously I probably wouldn't sleep as well as I would if I didn't have it. But like, I wasn't that sensitive to caffeine. Whereas now, when I choose when I have caffeine, I actually get the benefits from it. Like, I do feel so wired that like in a race, I'll have a caffeine gel. This is a 70.3 race. I'll have one like 20 minutes before the start. And then when I get I think I have one normally when I get on the bike, and then I have one as I start the run, just so I'm like topped up and I'm like wired the whole way.
I think this is one of the only ways I would be pro caffeine, because I turned quite anti-caffeine.
Yeah.
Because if you utilize it like that, then you use it to perform. I'm sure if I took it as well, like very early in the morning, and I have busy day or I have lots of training, that's fine, and my body would get through it. But I hate the idea of not being able to function without it.
Yeah.
To be like, oh, don't talk to me because I didn't have my coffee.
Yeah.
So your personality literally depends on having a coffee.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you are a miserable person. Like
100%.
Kind of like sucks. And then just having life depending on some kind of substance, whatever it is, I just don't like the idea. So.
Yeah. I'm the same. Because like people would say, oh yeah, but when I stopped coffee for a day, I had the worst headaches.
Of course
and
you did.
I felt so
You're
bad.
fucking addicted to it.
Yeah. But I remember doing it. I was like, right, I'm going to do one day of no caffeine. And that day, because I think I listened to that podcast with Matthew Walker, the guy who wrote the book Why We Sleep. And I listened to his podcast and I was like, I'm never drinking again. I'm never doing shift work again. I'm never drinking caffeine. I was like, I'm going to be in bed at 8
You
o'clock
are
every night.
doing fucking cabin crew.
Yeah, that's
never
it.
sleeping.
I never sleep, bro. My sleep is so messed up all the time. So I was like, well, at least I could do is stop drinking caffeine, or to the extent that I drink it at. And yeah, that first night, I remember just sleeping so well. And it was kind of, the best I describe it was the first few days when I went vegan 8 years ago. I remember waking up thinking, oh, I feel so good.
Like light.
Yeah, I felt light, energetic, and after a full night's sleep without having coffee the whole day before, I remember waking up thinking, oh my God, I feel like I slept like 15 hours, do you know what I mean? And I just hadn't had caffeine. So I thought, all right, one day is good, I'll do 2 days. Did 2 days, slept amazing again. I thought, you know what, I'll just do this. I'll just carry it on. And I carried on for a few months. Nice. But then like I said, I started utilising it because, you know, you do listen to people and you're like, oh, there are benefits to it. And I obviously proved to myself I wasn't addicted to it.
Yeah.
I could easily come off it if I wanted to. And yeah, I sort of use it in my favour now.
That's good.
So
definitely, if you utilise it, I think that's a very smart way to.
And the other thing about caffeine is it helps you go to the toilet before a race. So this is one thing, always have a coffee if you feel like you need to go to the toilet, because if you're scared about, you know, the number twos in a race, then a couple of
not gonna happen after
couple of double espressos, mate, in the morning, you'll be fine, trust me. So yeah.
So do you drink coffee when you fly? Because you do lots of night flights and stuff.
Never. No, I only choose to drink caffeine when I have a big session.
That's really good.
That I do in the morning.
I like that.
Yeah. Yeah, I religiously don't have it after midday.
Yeah.
Like anything after midday, I think it's probably a superstition in my head that I won't sleep that night.
I think that's good.
But yeah, if I have like 3 hours on the bike and I'm starting at 4 in the morning, then get me up at 3 and
Yeah.
I'll enjoy my coffee like there's no tomorrow. Maybe even have 2. Yeah, it's like...
Maybe I'll try.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll try again. Only for these purposes as well.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to definitely do it daily. I know I would love it.
Yeah.
For me, it's the thing, like I drink it. First half an hour, 1 hour, I'm like completely blissful. Like, have you seen the movie Limitless?
Yes, I have, yeah. Long
So
time.
for me, it's like when I take it, I'm like suddenly like the world is brighter.
Yeah.
Everything is better.
Yeah.
Everything, like I can suddenly do everything. I'm like, fuck, ideas are coming. I'm creative. I'm motivated. I'm like, yeah, I can do this. And like after that 1 hour, it just kind of like goes down.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, fuck. And then my heart starts like
Oh,
pumping
really?
like crazy. My hands start shaking, and I'm just like, I don't know what to do with myself, you know?
Wow.
And then if I would take one, I don't know, at 12, I know in the evening I would be still shaking.
Yeah.
I would be like anxious and depressed, you know?
Yeah, but that's maybe because or were you having that when you were drinking coffee regularly? You had that feeling?
Yeah,
Really?
it didn't really matter. Even if I took, like now, what 5 p.m. If I took coffee now,
Gone.
I would probably go to the hospital.
Really?
No, I'm exaggerating,
Yeah,
but
no,
I
no.
wouldn't feel great.
Yeah.
I would feel great for like half an hour.
Wow.
And then I would just like really like borderline depressed.
Wow, that's crazy, isn't it?
And that's not only coffee, that's green tea, anything that has caffeine in it.
Really?
And even if I tried even eating like, if I eat lots of chocolate, like dark chocolate, I can feel a little bit like,
Serious?
I don't know, maybe it's just mental, maybe
Yeah.
it's crazy.
No, but I think like when you're aware of these things, it can play in your mind, you know?
Yeah.
Because there's some people who don't care about
I think like, especially if you come of it for so long, and then you really become sensitive to it, so then you can really feel even a little bit,
Yeah.
you know?
It's funny you feel that with chocolate though, because that's one thing I eat a lot of dark chocolate. Like I love chocolate.
Yeah.
That's my favourite, and the darker the better. Like there's a brand in the UK that does this 100% dark chocolate, and everyone thinks I'm a
Too
weirdo.
much for me.
Oh, I love it.
I can do like 80s, like my limit.
That's what I said. And
Anything
then,
after is like, ugh,
yeah,
this is bland.
it's bitter.
Like bitter and
Yeah, sticky.
disgusting,
But
yeah.
oh no.
So how do you deal with, that's my question, how do you deal with training the level you train? I think we just talked about it before the podcast, while flying. Because for people who don't know, that if you fly as cabin crew, your schedule is absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like you can go for a flight at 3 a.m., you can go for a flight at midnight, at morning, like it's just everywhere. And you have like few days to recover from the flights, and you go for another flight, and yet you manage to fit, in these few days off, you manage to fit the level of training that even people who, like you said, like almost pro level, right? Or like pro level training.
Yeah.
Like
I
it's
think-
like part-time job, you said 20 hours per week?
Yeah, I'm doing now around 20. Obviously, I've worked up to it, but now my training is around 20 hours per week.
20 hours.
Yeah, it's like an average.
That's insane.
Yeah.
While flying, for me, that's insane, even if you are a normal person.
Yeah.
But while flying with people who never, or who don't know, who are not aware how demanding that is for body to fly. Like imagine when you fly for holiday, how tired you are after, I don't know, 7-hour flight.
Yeah.
Just like fucks you up. And then you're working on that flight, you come and you go after 24 hours back, again do the flight. You come back to Dubai, maybe you have 1 day, and then you do that again, and you never stop doing that for 5 years.
I know. I don't know whether it's like, when I finish this job at some point, whether I'm going to feel that massive difference of not, like, I mean, I hope I do. I hope
think
it
you-
like,
I
takes me to
did.
the next level. You
I
did?
100%. Like
Really?
the sleep improved
Yeah.
drastically for me.
Yeah.
Like, I cannot, like black and white improvement of sleep.
Yeah, because I think when you have a routine, I mean, when I've had a routine, when I've had like 7 days off, for example, it's like the difference you see in 7 days. By day 4 or 5, you're like, wow, I don't feel hungover.
I know, right?
I've slept
You
amazing.
don't feel like a vegetable. You just like, you can
you
do
feel
stuff.
like really on it.
Like
know?
you actually wake up in the morning refreshed.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I know, and it's something that, to be honest, that is the biggest question I get from everybody. Like everyone I've ever trained with, raced with, whatever, they always say, I don't know how you do it with your job. And it's like, yeah, I mean, I could easily sit here and make excuses, and miss sessions and stuff. And yeah, I probably don't train at 100% all the time because of my job, but like, I'm blessed in the fact that I do have the time to do it. So I
That's
guess,
one thing I think this job gives you.
yeah,
It's as demanding as it is, you get lots of free time.
you do get a lot of time,
Yeah.
yeah. But it's just how you choose to spend that time. And yeah, like today we did an hour on the treadmill, just over an hour on the treadmill, and it was quite a tough session. And like I've just got back from New York the day before last, and I slept
Insane.
15 hours sleep. It's the longest I've ever done because I just had nap after nap after nap for the last 2 days because of flying times and jet lag and blah 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 blah. But I think the best way, I don't know how I'd say, I have obviously like very high motivation to train and race. Like I'm a very competitive person, and like I know without training I'm not going to get the results that I want. So I suppose my own ego is a driving factor in like how I train so much.
So again, utilizing it to your benefit, that's good.
Yeah, and I suppose in this job it is sleeping as much as you can whenever you can, and unfortunately having to say no to a lot of things that you probably used to do.
Like social life.
Social life, yeah. And it's funny because, like, it's so funny. Everyone has that typical story of like, oh, my mate got a girlfriend and now we never see him, you know?
Yeah.
But I think, honestly, finding a girlfriend was like one of the best things for me. It like made me, I'm still a social butterfly, don't get me wrong. I love talking to people, meeting people, but I stopped going out till 3 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
Stopped drinking pretty much. I mean, I don't drink anymore. Like, I've sort of said no to a lot of things that I would do in the past, and then when I'd get home and go, oh, why did I do that? Like, I could have been asleep for 4 hours, you know? And now, I don't know, I'm more picky with my time and who I spend it with and what I do in my spare time. And I think that's sort of like the discipline that doing triathlon is like given me, I suppose. I waste my time less, I would say.
Yeah, you prioritize better.
Yes.
You kind of have to.
For sure.
I think it's like combination of the job that you already have kind of limited off time, plus you need to fulfill the training sessions.
Yeah.
So like you have to prioritize, otherwise you would be fucked.
Yeah, for sure. And there are some days, don't get me wrong, where I'm like, I always remember there was one session, we flew to Mauritius, and I remember being on the plane thinking, I haven't slept very well. I feel horrible. The flight was busy. Obviously, we stay in a super nice hotel resort in Mauritius, and I thought, oh, do you know what? I'm going to get to the hotel room. I'm not going to sit down. I'm just going to go straight to the gym, and I'm going to get the session done, just so I don't relax, you know? So what I do, I get to the hotel, I sit down, laid on the bed, and I was laying there, and I remember for like 2 hours I laid there like, I've just got this one treadmill session to do. I was like, I cannot get off the bed. Like, and I remember thinking, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do the session, and I'm going to remember how I feel now and think if I was this tired now and managed to finish a session, there's no other session I can't do, you know? And I went downstairs and did this run session, and I actually felt phenomenal. And I can't say that happens all the time, but just this one session I felt so good. And I went to the pool afterwards, went back to the bed, and I thought, do you know what? If I sacked that off, which I was so close to doing, I never would have like done that session. It never would have happened, and I never would have known. And I would have always had it in the back of my mind that if I feel that bad, I can just say no. Whereas now, like, yeah, I might not feel that good when I do it, but at least I know I can get it done, at least, you know?
Yeah, you set a bar high for yourself. Because now, you know, like, I felt more shit and I still did it, so there's no excuse now.
Yeah.
That's good.
It's like, yeah. But then it would be, at some point, obviously, like I said, I'm not going to have this job.
Yeah.
It's not a forever thing. And it's going to be amazing to see, like, how I use my time around, like, say, a normal job or a normal lifestyle, I suppose, where I'm not flying left, right, and
It's very interesting, at least in my case, it was that I thought, like, once you resign and you have so much time, like, it's amazing, you can do everything. And then it was actually the opposite. I feel like I was still doing even more when I was flying because the free time was so precious that I made sure, like, I utilized every single day to the fullest.
Yeah.
And now when I have, like, more, now I'm quite busy as well, but I have periods when I'm not, and then I'm just kind of like sometimes really wasting time.
Really?
Because I work for myself, so I don't have anyone telling me what to do, and then that can be very
because you have no schedule, do you? I suppose it's like if you don't, you have to like motivate yourself to work.
You have to be very disciplined to like, you have to do this.
Yeah.
This is why I'm pushing myself almost all the time to wake up very early.
Yeah.
Despite it being very like 5 a.m. and stuff, because it's very uncomfortable. I don't have to do it. But that's exactly why I do it. Yeah. Because that gives me the discipline, like, oh, if I can do it, then I can do this as well and do this as well.
And like we were saying, in your job, what you do, it's quite, what's the word? It's quite competitive in Dubai. Yeah. There's a lot of there's a big market for it, but there's a lot of people doing what you do.
Yeah, it's a big situation.
So yeah, you have to like put yourself out there and
you have to just keep
hustling, don't you?
Going. Yeah.
Otherwise, like, you won't get the work. So yeah, it's I don't know. I mean, I commend you for doing something like that. I mean, at least in my job, they tell me when to work, where I'm going. I don't have to do the thinking part of it, you know?
Yeah.
Whereas you have
That's
to
what
like...
I enjoyed while I was flying as well.
Yeah.
And like, you're like a child, just
Yeah.
holding your hands. They take you here and go to this bus, go there.
Yeah. But then at some point you need like your own like a new challenge and your own challenge.
This is why I had you said as well, like you need some challenge to grow.
Yeah.
Yeah, eventually you have to do that. And then with your girlfriend, so can you imagine, because you guys train together sometimes, right? Like she bikes, she runs.
Yeah.
So I'm just guessing she started because of you?
So she's always been into fitness.
Okay.
She does a lot of Pilates and she does her own like functional fitness sessions. I mean, she's an absolute weapon. Like she's an unbelievable athlete, and she's also super competitive. And I don't know if she would agree with that, but I know she is, because when she started running, and we were talking about this on the treadmill, you know, I would say she'd say, right, you've inspired me to run a 10K or a half marathon. The goal was a half marathon, then she hurt her foot, long story short. But I was giving her like 3 or 4 runs a week, and on a Sunday it'd be an easy long run, and she'd come back and I'd say, how was your 10K long run? Blah, blah, like easy. And she'd be like, yeah, it was so good, blah, blah. And I'd check and it'd say like 175 beats a minute average. Easy. And I said, easy run. And she went, yeah, but that's what my watch was saying, but it felt so easy. And I remember thinking to myself, well, you know, the watches can be off a little bit, but we're talking like 40 beats off, like 30, 40 beats off. I'm like, no, you need to slow down. And she's like, yeah, but it's so slow already. And that's where she gets like her competitive nature from.
She looks at the pace, not the heart rate.
Exactly.
People do it.
Yeah, and it's the hardest thing ever to tell someone to go slower when it already feels easy. But we've all been there at some point, you know. So, yeah, she got into it. She still does her own thing. I don't think she crosses over too much. Like, she's cycled with me a couple of times.
Yeah.
She's not big into swimming and cycling and triathlons and stuff, but she does enjoy the running. And I think the running part, she complements with her functional training sessions. And I think she enjoys the running. The good thing is she'll come on the bike next to me when I run sometimes.
That's amazing. That's what I mean. Like, you have the support. Like, can you imagine having someone who is absolutely not into fitness?
Yeah.
Can you imagine? Like, probably not, right?
No,
like,
I mean, she's not big into sports like the football, because obviously where I come from, like, football is life. Like, you know, if you don't watch Match of the Day on a Saturday night, like, you're a weirdo, you know?
No, just being active. The fact that she is active. Like, you probably cannot imagine being with someone who's not active.
Nah, it's a blessing in disguise, mate. And honestly, like, I've said this on my podcast, and I've spoken to, like, obviously friends who do triathlon. It does take up so much time. Like I said, 20 hours a week on top of your job. It's demanding, and it is a lot of time spent training. And yeah, you do feel selfish, and sometimes you do think like, wow, you know, like, I do feel bad. You know, sometimes I feel bad saying to her, she's just like, oh, what have you got tomorrow? I'm like, I've got 4 hours on the bike. Like, how do I break it? I'll be like, yeah, I've got like 3.5 hours on the bike, you know? And you're like thinking, I know I've got 4, but I don't even want to say it because I feel bad. Because obviously, like, she flies as well, so sometimes you don't see each other. I mean, right now, I haven't seen her in nearly a week, and I'm not going to see her for another like 5 days. And it's like, she's the other side of the world. I spoke to her last night on the phone. It's the first time I spoke to her on the phone in like 3 days. You know, and then it's like, when she comes back, it's going to be like, so what are we going to do today? It's like, well, 4 hours on the bike again. Do you know what I mean? It's like, so obviously there is that, but then she understands, and it's cool because if I do go for a run, she can come with me, and we do spend quite a lot of time together when I'm training. Yeah, when I'm training. But like, we do spend a lot of time together, and I don't know, like, I don't feel like, she might disagree, but I don't know. I feel like we have the best relationship. Like, and I'm not just saying it because like, I'm on camera or whatever, but I mean, we don't argue. I'm so blessed. Like, my girlfriend is like, she actually is the best, which is cool because I never thought I'd have a girlfriend. That's like, that's a time for another podcast. But yeah, I was always going to be single forever, never have kids, and then everyone was always like, you're going to meet one girl who's going to like change your life. And I was like, no, it's not true. Like, there's so many girls out there. Why would you choose one? You know? And then I met one and I was like, oh God, they were right. It's all changed. And yeah, it's weird how like someone can make you more motivated than you already are, and like make you want to be even better. And it's like, yeah, it's a selfish thing to spend so much time on yourself. But like, she almost helps me be a better person and a better athlete. It's weird, man. Like it's cool. It's cool to have someone who's so supportive and like who gets it, you know?
That's amazing.
Yeah, it's cool.
That's how it should be, I guess.
Yeah.
Like you wouldn't have anyone else who wouldn't accept it. And
No. I know, yeah, it sounds bad when you say that, but like...
it is.
But it's true, yeah, because at the end of the day, like you're the only person that can live your own life, aren't you, I suppose? And you need to be surrounded by people who make your life better. And yeah, that sounds selfish, but like, you've got to live in your shoes, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, nobody else.
And she makes my life 100 times better. And I literally couldn't imagine life without her now. It's crazy. It's crazy how like your mindset changes from this like young, single, crazy, like I'm gonna do everything kind of guy to like,
I'm gonna move to Poland and have kids.
Yeah, I want to settle down, have a garden and some dogs and fireplace and all that rubbish. But,
how long have you guys been together?
well, together officially for like 2 years. We met like 4 years ago, and then and then like I was still a bit young and immature, so we can blame me for that. But yeah, we've been together for 2 years, which is where like it was so random how we even got back together because we weren't we weren't speaking at all. And then I remember that's how I got into triathlon. We broke up, I got into triathlon, and then at some point I was like, right, I think if ever there was a time in my life where I wasn't completely against any relationship, is now. And then a week later, I got pulled out for a flight and she was working on it.
No way.
I swear, bro. It was like the craziest thing ever. And it was like within a week of me thinking, you know, I'm now mature enough to actually, if I met someone, I wouldn't be against a relationship. And then I saw her and I remember like going into the briefing room and
wait, that was the first time you saw her? She wasn't the one you broke up with?
Yeah, so we were together about 4 years ago. Nearly 4 years ago.
So you guys broke up and then...
Yeah, we broke up.
Okay.
Or, yeah, I can say it, but she broke up with me because she was like, I don't think you're serious about this, blah, blah, blah. In my head, I was having this dilemma, like, I'm young and I need to like be single and do everything I want to do before I get into a relationship. But then in my head, I'm thinking, I've met the best person I've ever met. Like, I want to be with her, only her. So I was having this like dilemma, and she sort of like gave me an answer for me. She said, right, that's it. Like, we're going to go our separate ways. And I think it was a year and a half where we didn't speak. But in my head, I was thinking like, she's the only girl I'd ever met where I thought like, that's the one, you know? And then that's when I got into triathlon, started like going out less, started like dedicating myself to training. Then I started doing like from 2-hour bike rides to 4-hour bike rides. And you know that if you train for 4 hours on your own, there's a lot of time to think about stuff. And
we were just talking about you don't use headphones either. So
yeah.
It's just kind of like...
Don't use headphones.
Pure mental.
Yeah, unless I'm on Zwift, I'll put like Netflix on or something. But if I'm outside, I can't do the headphones thing. So yeah, I was outdoors in Al Qudra doing 4 hours. And I remember there was like a flick of a switch in my head, and it was like, no, I think like I'm over this like stage of my life where I need to be young and single and free and blah, blah, blah. I'm still free, I can still do what I want, but you know what I mean? Like I just matured. I felt like in that year and a half.
That one session you just matured.
That one session matured me, yeah. And then it was like literally a week later, I started my month on reserve and got pulled out for a flight to Dallas, Texas, which was like a 2-day trip. And she was on it. And I was like, well, if there's ever a better chance.
What are the chances?
Yeah. I managed to, Callum Scott, the English singer, he was performing in Dallas, Texas. I managed to get 2 tickets and I was like, oh, do you want to come with me? And that was it, mate. That was
the rest is history, yeah.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Now here I am like, 2 years, like nearly 2-year relationship, man. Like it's gone so quick because it's been so fun and enjoyable. But if you said to me like 2 years ago that you'd be with someone for 2 years, I'd be like, really? 2 years is a long time, but it's amazing how...
Is it like your longest relationship?
Ever. Yeah, I think the longest before that was like 9 months when I was like 20. Like I never thought I'd be a relationship guy. I always thought having a girlfriend would like limit you to certain things, and like you wouldn't be able to like achieve what you want to achieve, and you can't be, you know, as selfish as you want to be.
I used to have this mentality when I was younger, and I used to say, why would I have a girlfriend if I can limit myself?
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't need anyone else to limit me.
Exactly. Yes, mate. It's kind of true, right?
Yeah.
But then it always comes to state, like, I never thought it'd happen, but it happened to me. So for everyone out there who's like single and depressed, there's always someone there.
Waiting for you.
Yeah, there's someone
Keep
for everyone.
fighting.
Yeah, no matter how ugly or much of a loser you are, there's still someone that's going to love you, trust me.
It's turning into like motivational speech. You got this.
Oh my God, this podcast was like gone off on every single tangent possible.
Everywhere we could go.
Oh, all forms of life, eh?
Where else? Do you want to go anywhere else?
Oh, what in
Any other topic?
any other topic? Bloody hell, I think we've covered most of them, haven't
Is there anything you would like to tell to the millions of people watching?
Go follow my
billions of-
podcast, the Endurance Exchange.
The endurance exchange.
That's my mate's podcast.
You will put it on your bio on Instagram as well.
Oh yeah, I will. You need to show me how to change my bio on Instagram because I was trying to do it before this and I was like, I'm so bad at technology. It's like, thank goodness we have people like you and my mate Joe who can sort out the.
That podcast is really enjoyable. It's like listening to Harry Potter basically. So
Yeah.
you can just
Oh, next time I go to like promote it to someone, I'll just say, oh, have you ever seen Harry Potter? It's just like that, but
it's like the same thing basically.
about endurance sports and random stuff. So yeah. No, it's cool,
Nice.
man.
And okay, where can people find you, follow you? So the Endurance Podcast,
Yeah, the Endurance Exchange.
the Endurance Exchange.
We have the podcast, and we have an Instagram page as well. And then me, I'm Ollie Lockyer on Instagram.
I don't think anyone
And,
who is not English speaker will know what you just said.
Yeah, so Ollie Lockyer is my Instagram.
No, I mean how you spell it. The last name.
Oh yeah, Lockyer.
I wouldn't know how to.
Oh, would you not?
If you just say this, I wouldn't know.
Yeah. Oh, we'll write
I
it down.
don't speak
in
English, so
your,
that's
your English is pretty good for someone whose second language it is, eh? We'll write it on the comments on the thing so you can see it. Because it's I don't even think it's that popular an English name. I mean, I think Lockyer
Sounds
isn't.
English, though.
Yeah, but I've never met another Lockyer until there was one Premier League footballer this year who I was like, oh, he's called Lockyer, and it's like the first.
Maybe it's your family.
Maybe,
never know.
mate. You never know, mate. You never know. I always say Ronaldo's my cousin because I'm half Portuguese.
Oh yeah, true.
And my mum's from Madeira. So I'm like, yeah, Ronaldo, he's like my third cousin or something, And you get
People
always,
probably buy
some people are like, really? And you're like, nah, come on, like.
Oh, just keep it up. Like, yeah, of course.
Yeah, of course, Ronaldo's my cousin, of course.
Just Photoshop some picture with
Yeah,
him.
that's it. No, but yeah, so question for you is when are you going to sign up for your first triathlon? Or what's your next goal for?
Well, the next goal is full marathon.
Oh, is it? Yeah.
Yeah, which I told you would be either the Abu Dhabi or the Dubai one. Abu Dhabi is I think December, Dubai January or February, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
So I definitely want to do full marathon, and I think from there I'll go to other things.
Yeah.
So I do want to focus on running still. Now it's what, June? June? Is it June?
It's June, yeah.
Yeah. So I have like half a year, which I think is enough. I already did half, so I know I can do full. I could probably do full now, just would be very painful and probably would end up injured. So I don't want to do that.
Yeah, be
I want to
prepared.
slowly build up to it.
Yeah.
My brother, he did full marathon without training, not signing up for race. He just went one evening to run half marathon. And then he's just like, I'm just going to continue. He made a YouTube video from it, but unfortunately it's in Slovak.
Okay.
And he was vlogging the whole thing. And he even ran in like quite good time. I think it was 4 hours or just under 4 hours for someone who never ran it.
Yeah, yeah.
And he just like fucking ran marathon. He never ran longer distance than half.
Yeah.
Even the first time he ran half a couple of years back, I think he kind of ended up injured because he never prepared for it. And then he just like, I'm just gonna go for full.
No
He
way.
just kept running. And the worst thing is, the craziest thing to me is, it's like Goggins style. He was running in this little park in Dera that's like maybe 500 meters, maybe 400 meters.
No
slope,
way.
And he just ran there, a full marathon.
So that's like what, like 200 laps or
I don't
something?
know, insane.
Nah.
And I'm just like,
Some people.
how did you do that? And he did it, and he finished it. And I'm not even sure if it wasn't, maybe it was even in summer, like here in Dubai, so it was fucking hot.
Yeah.
It was in the evening, but still, like the
It's still
humidity.
hot. Yeah.
And I just remember him, like he said, like he couldn't really walk the next day. He
Yeah.
just like went to the bath and just like recovered, but he kind of recovered quite quickly from it.
Yeah.
And I was just like, and here I am like stressing about preparing for marathon half a year forward. But that's the thing for me, I just, like the main reason is I know I could do it, I could push it, I just don't want to end up injured.
Yeah.
Because it's just annoying.
And it's like, you can go and do what your brother did, and it's probably not that enjoyable,
It's
especially
very
running
much not
around
enjoyable.
in a circle like that.
Yeah.
But like if you train for it and you go and run Abu Dhabi, it's like at least you're on a course, you see things. You know, like I did Manchester Marathon and I ran around Manchester, went past like Old Trafford and you see things and it's exciting and there's crowds and they help you along and you don't suffer massively. Do you know what I mean? It's different to never running and then doing it at 38 degrees in Dubai, you know?
Yeah.
You want to kind of enjoy it and have a memory and then be able to walk the next week afterwards, because I did similar thing before, and yeah, I know what your brother feels like.
Yeah, it's disgusting.
I did it in Dubai in summer with my mate who was on a bike, and I think I started at like 5 minutes per K pace. And this is before I really got into even doing triathlon. I was just doing powerlifting at the time, and I think by the end I was running like 7:30s, 8 minutes. And mate, when I say I couldn't walk for 2 weeks afterwards, I really couldn't walk.
That was the full marathon?
Full marathon, yeah.
You just did it just for fun as well?
For fun. Yeah, I have the Strava data somewhere, but it was such a horrible experience. I remember thinking, I couldn't even give you a time. Maybe 3-4 hours or something, like late 3 hours, early 4 hours. I couldn't tell you.
Yeah.
But then like I trained, I started doing triathlon. I got an understanding of sport and nutrition and sleep and blah, 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 blah. And yeah, I did Manchester Marathon last April, so April 2023, and I did 2:46.
That's fucking
marathon.
Amazing.
So yeah, and that was... And
what's the average pace for that?
It was 3:57 maybe?
That's my sprints.
Or something like that.
So
But it's,
marathon, what I can sprint for like 20 minutes.
but it's funny because I did that, and my biggest takeaway from doing that marathon was I didn't do enough training, because at 40k both my hamstrings cramped, and I had to run backwards for like 500 meters because I couldn't bend my legs. So it's like my lungs felt good. I felt like I could have ran faster, but my muscles in my legs were so tight and cramping. Maybe it was like a hydration problem, but I'd never gone to that distance at that intensity. So my legs just weren't used to it, basically. And everyone always says, I could have run this. I was having a conversation with my friend about this, and people say like, oh, I didn't go, I could have ran this, or I could have done that. It's like, well, if you could have, you should have.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, I can sit here and say, my lungs were good enough to run a 2:40, yes, or 2:40 sub, whatever, but my legs weren't. So I'm not going to sit here and say, I could have done two.
Yeah.
There's no way I could have done better than I did on that day. Absolutely no way. Yeah, if I trained more, did just marathon running, then it might be quicker. Who knows? But these people that say, oh, I could do this or I could do that, it's like, well, if you can do it, then go do it. Show everyone, and stop saying you can do it, and just do it.
That's the message for you guys.
Wow.
If you can do it, just fucking do it.
Yeah, don't mess about. That's a pretty good ending, isn't it?
That's a good ending. I think that's where we will end. Because
no, we've been talking for an hour and 40 something minutes.
Yeah, hour 41, yeah.
Madness, mate.
All right.
Thank you so much, man. Thanks for having me. It was good fun.
Very welcome. Say hi to a million people and...
Oh yeah, hi. A million.
Millions.
Millions. You never know. One day, when the podcast takes off, I'll look back on this pod and go, bloody hell, mate, you were so young and rubbish at talking about it.
That's good. All right. Thank you.
Lovely, mate. Appreciate it, man. Thank you.
That's it.